I don't know who made this, but I just received this from my sister. It says they hate women so much they set up women for this moment to take their fall. And if that isn't the damn truth, like, they have put all these women in positions and they're just like, pull my string, and they repeat what he tells them to repeat, and they will take the fall. Just like Ghislaine has the only one who has taken the fall. If you do not see what is so clearly in front of you, you're part of it.
Okay, this is something that I talked about last year when Donald Trump was getting all the members of his government approved by the Senate and placed in various positions. Now, we know why Tulsi Gabbard has her position because she's batshit crazy and she is absolutely a controlled foreign asset, right? We understand why Tulsi Gabbard is doing the job she's doing. But Kristi Noem running DHS and Pam Bondi as the Attorney General, I understand that AI graphic was a little bit scrambled. And Donald Trump has always picked women, or not always, but has had a number of women to be his press secretaries. And that raises the question, like, Project 2025 doesn't want any women in the workplace. And Donald Trump has worked hard to try and remove women from the military. More than 300,000 Black women have been forced out of the workforce in the United States since Donald Trump has come into office this time around. Journalists or elected officials who dare question him or say anything he doesn't like are deemed nasty. He calls them names like piggy. You're not very nice. So I'm going to get your press credentials pulled. Donald Trump hates women, especially when they are demonstrating that they have agency, when they dare to express themselves, when they show that they're smarter than him, more ethical than him. He comes unglued. In fact, he has a long history of reducing women to their body parts. Grab them by the, and it's more than that. He has reduced his own daughters to body parts, talking about their legs and their breasts when they were little children. He made weird comments last year about how much he liked Caroline Leavitt's lips. He wants to dehumanize women. He does dehumanize women. He doesn't see us as fully human at all. I mean, which makes sense considering what all of the accusations are in the Epstein files against him. And not just the accusations in the Epstein files, he's been found liable for sexual assault against E. Jean Carroll in a court of law. Why do women go and work for him? Why is it that KKK Caroline is working for him? I mean, I think that there's a different pathology for all of these women, and maybe we shouldn't spend all that much time or energy trying to understand why it is that they want to work for him. I mean, I think it's not unlikely that Kristi Noem is a sociopath, especially the way that she wrote about shooting her own dog in her biography. I think that KKK Caroline, groomed by a man 3 decades older than her, she is married to an old man. And there definitely is a pathology there of women who don't want to see themselves as victims, who then become willing to do the work of their oppressors, especially when we look at white women who think the only way that they can have any safety and power at all is by upholding the men who oppress them, especially if those men are abusive and controlling. If you can get those men to turn their anger onto somebody else that isn't you, then you feel like you might be a little bit safer. And so you have white women in the regime, white women in conservative America in general, who are willing to throw everybody else under the bus. That is an act that they take up. That is a move that they make because they are hoping to turn the anger and the vitriol and the rage of the men in their lives away from them. It's an attempt to deflect all of that violence off of them and onto other people. When ultimately those women, I keep telling y'all, I keep telling other white women, like, girl, get free, get free. Instead of having white men turn their rage on these other people, go ally with these other people. We have our strength in numbers. We have our strength in numbers. White men want to keep white women separated from all of the folks that we should be allying with who are likewise oppressed by the patriarchy and white supremacy. And white men, if they lost the emotional support, the labor, the water carrying for them that white women do, white women uphold the systems of patriarchy and white supremacy and capitalism. And they know that they are dependent on these women in order to get the job done of instituting a white nationalist, Christo-fascist regime in the United States. They can't do it without the participation and labor of women. And we could talk about whether or not Pam Bondi idolizes Trump and whether or not she's like really an ideologue in the cult of MAGA. I think her testimony in front of Congress the other day shows that she clearly knows her level of defensiveness, shows that she is aware that what she's doing is wrong. She knows on some level that it's wrong. I think she also knows that she's facing prison, that Donald Trump is not going to protect her from going to prison. And that brings us to the question at the beginning of this video, or the premise at the beginning of this video. Project 2025 does not want women in the workforce at all. Christo-fascists want all women uneducated, at home, having loads of children, under the federal headship of men, doing the bidding of either their fathers or their husbands, subservient to men, right? They want the silent obedience and complicity of women. So why is it that there are women in Donald Trump's cabinet? Why is it that the Attorney General is a woman? It's because they plan on having them take the fall for all kinds of things, just like ICE are the brown shirts. And I think ultimately, there is a way that they will be the ones who are facing prison. There's no statute of limitations on a number of the crimes that ICE agents are committing now. And they're hoping that these low-level goons will break every law, and then they will be the ones who face justice. And those higher up who got them to do these horrible crimes, that they will avoid it. Likewise, women are in these positions so that they can take the fall for men. I mean, I think definitely malignant narcissists like Stephen Miller and Donald Trump, they don't see anybody as fully human. And so every human being is somebody that they can use and exploit, either to do their bidding or to face the punishment that they should be facing, or just to be used for their own entertainment and amusement, right? There's that element to it. But there's also the fact that the Project 2025 Russell Vote guys, the Mike Johnsons, the Christo-fascists, they see women as inherently inferior to men. Women are temptresses, right? We're the daughters of Eve. Women should be submissive and under the control of men. So they view it as unnatural, out of alignment with God's order, for women to be in positions of leadership over men. That's why so many of these men are from churches where women are not allowed to hold positions of leadership. Some of them belong to churches where women are not allowed to speak in church at all. And then they operate under federal headship where daughters and wives can't take communion unless their father or their husband is there to be the covering over them. I don't think y'all realize what kind of theology a lot of these men in the government and in the Heritage Foundation are operating out of. So for the moment, Russell Vogt and others, they see these women as useful, as a necessary evil for the moment, but they have every intention of pushing them out and creating a government that is run entirely by white men. Entirely by white men. And I completely agree. They hate women so much on some level, especially I think folks like Mike Johnson, men who are obviously deeply closeted and then really, really hate the fact that their religion has forced them to be married to a woman. Their deep hatred of women is profound. Their resentment of women stems from the fact that they're not able to live their true, authentic lives and be their authentic selves. And instead, they have to be married to women. When they are not attracted to women, they don't like women at all. And then they externalize that rage instead of dealing with their own issues and just fucking going to therapy and deconstructing from their god-awful religion. Instead, they decide that they're going to take their anger and resentment out on all women. On all women. They hate all women. I guarantee you that a lot of these men are really enjoying what happened with Pam Bondi in this hearing. They're also really enjoying the way that people make fun of Kristi Noem, mock Kristi Noem, and absolutely loathe her. And they are looking forward to these women taking the fall for Donald Trump and his regime. And then they're going to swing in and put in men who are far nastier, far more insidious. And these women won't see it coming. They think that they're a little bit safer. They think that maybe Donald Trump will pick them this time around. They think that maybe they'll be seen as fully human. Then they're never going to be seen as fully human. No white woman. First of all, nobody, but especially white women, you're not safe in a system like the one Donald Trump and the Christo-fascists want. The system that we have in the U.S., white supremacy, the patriarchy, and capitalism. You are not safe. Under all of those, you will be used by white men in power. And then you will be cast aside. You will be thrown away. But just FYI, it's not our job to save Pam Bondi from the consequences of her actions. It's not our job to save Kristi Noem. It's not our job to get KKK Caroline to realize that she was groomed by an elderly man and that she's doing the bidding of Donald Trump because she also needs to get free and go to therapy. Like, it's not our job to do that. These women are choosing to be complicit. However much they are victims of the system that they're in, they are now choosing to uphold that system and to victimize millions of people as a result. So I don't feel sorry for them, but I wish we could all understand that dynamic a little bit better. The regime's ultimate goal is to have a government run entirely by white men and where women will have no power at all. None.